Today we'll be solving problem 78, subsets. So in this problem, we've been given an array nums of unique elements and we need to return all possible subsets of that array. So given are a few examples, the first being nums equals to 1, 2, 3, and these are the following outputs that we get: an empty set, single elements, double, triple, and all of these elements are stored, and this is the output that is expected out of us. Now to code it up, as I talked about earlier, whenever a function requires you to print out all possible outcomes, recursion is the first step to go about it. So therefore we'll be solving the question using recursion. The function which was initially given to us is called subsets, and the return format is a vector of vectors containing all possible subsets that are there. The parameter which has been passed to us is the nums array. Now what we do first is we find out the size of the nums array. We create a vector of vector answer which we'll be returning in this function, and then we create a temporary vector temp. This function func is our recursive function which would be required to generate all possible subsets. Now this is what the function is doing. These are the parameters that are being passed to it. The vector nums, int I, int n being the size of the vector nums, answer, and then temp. So what is the intuition behind it is, at every index there are two options. Either you take the value or you do not take the value. So what we do is we have func nums I plus 1. So initially, as you see, I is being passed as 0, so we start from the 0th index, and if we do not want to take that value, you just move on to the next index. The second option being you take that value, so you do temp dot pushback nums of I, and then you again move on to the next function, next index. The base condition of this function is when the value of I is equal to the index n, then you push back temp into the answer vector and then you return the function. This here temp.popback is being commented out because the function works just as fine without this also, but just for better understanding you could also do temp.popback. So what you're essentially doing is you're pushing back a number in the vector temp, you are moving to the next element, and then after that recursive call you are popping that element back so that you can form out other combinations. The code has been provided in the description for your reference. Thank you so much.